In the Vedic culture, your life was categorized in 4 phases. We call them the 4 stages of life. So the first stage of life is from the age, once you're born, you are a teenager, you are sent to a place called Gurukul. So these 4 stages are called 4 ashramas. The 4 ashramas are the 4 stages of life. The first stage of life is called Brahmacharya, which is till the age of 20 to 25, where you are sent to a guru. It's like a boarding time or schooling time when you are sent to a guru and learn all the skills. You practice celibacy during this time and channelize your energy towards skill development. So you get to know that are you a good mathematician or a good philosopher or a good botanist or a good engineer or a good warrior or a good business person or an entrepreneur? What are you good at? And you learn yoga during this time, not once you're old. This is the time you learn yoga. You are stable and you attain clarity about life. So you know where you are gonna head towards. So this is the first stage of life called Brahmacharya, where you are sent little away from the city. You are not in the city. I'm talking about the Vedic era. So Gurukul were schools which were away from the city and the mainstream life, so that you don't get distracted and you live in environment which is peaceful, which is in nature, which is spiritual, away from the hustles of the city, and you learn the skills of life with the help of a guru. So from guru comes Gurukula. So Gurukul is a place where guru teaches you. So you get to select your guru. During that young age, your parents will select you. Once you are grown up, you are sent to a Gurukul to learn the skills, learn yoga, learn pranayam. Okay. So you learn basic skills, you know yourself, you practice yoga, you are practicing celibacy during this time. These days, what is happening? You just think about it. Young people get exposed to sexuality, pornography, emotions. They are not wrong. It is also a part of life. But if you are exposed to all these things very early, you are very, very bound to lose direction in life. Yes or no? In the next phase, it's there. It doesn't say you don't do it. But first, as a student, first get clarity in life. People, today, everything is exposed. Everything is open. So, and there is no guidance. So you ought to fall in a trap of emotions. Young babies getting into relationship. What nonsense. That's not the age for, and then they will keep crying, and then drugs and alcohol and blah, blah, blah. Society falls. So first it says you have to discipline yourself, be in the presence of a guru who's operating a Gurukul, learn your skills, get direction in life. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then once you cross 25, around that age, the guru decides. It is not a particular age. The guru decides now you're ready. Then you enter the second stage of life. We call it Grihast Ashrama. Grihast means family life. You get married if you want to get married. If you think you are polygamous, you explore your sexuality. You explore your emotions. After 2025, it is the family life. Now, always a choice is given. That you have to be true to your sexual nature. Wherever your sexuality goes, you are clear about it. You're not confused. So according to that, you can go into the life, the family life, Grihast Ashram. Grihastha. Somebody has written it. G-R-I, Grihastha. Thank you for writing it down. Householder. So that is the right time to explore romance, love, emotions, sexuality. And by the time you are perfect in your skills, you have earned money, you are using your skills to generate income, you are using your skills, you are clear in life, you are earning well, and you have a family life if you want. So you are clear, and then you are investing in a family life. Today it's complicated. Okay. In the Grihast ashram, from the age of 25, it goes on till 45, 50. So you enjoy all the fruits of the family life. You enjoy marital. If you don't want to get married, you want to live as a bachelor and enjoy your sexual life, that is accepted. That is a real time to explore it because you are not dependent. You are clear. You are professionally sorted. Your skills are developed. Your emotions are balanced because you've been doing yoga since childhood. You are prepared to handle your emotions. Yes or no? You are prepared to handle your sexuality. You are prepared to handle a family life. You are prepared to handle a social life because the Guru has given you the knowledge and skills. You have developed your skills and you're working for it. That is called Grihast Ashram. Now, after Grihast Ashram, the third stage comes Vanaprastha. So in Vanaprasth, what do? You have generated enough wealth, you have enough money, you have enjoyed your emotions and everything. Now you slowly explore and travel. You go to different places, gain some experience, go to the forest and stay. You do some yoga retreats, meditation retreats. You already have been doing it. It's not that you do it in Vanaprasth. Vanaprasth means exploring. Van means forest. Vanaprasth means staying in the forest. So you stay a little bit, you start dissociating with family. I'm not saying physically, mentally, you start engaging more in nature, in social work, because you have enough money, you have enough resources, your children have gone to the ashramas, gurukulas, you have sent your children, they are being trained. So now you invest your resources in environment, social development, you travel, you explore, you know other things. The books that are recommended in Vanaprasth is called Aranyakas. Aranya means forest. So you can invest in some kind of skill development like poetry, music, art, culture. This is the time you travel and explore. Okay? And now, for example, you have explored a lot of places. Then comes the last phase, which is called sannyas, the fourth stage. Now, please understand, sannyas means, it doesn't mean renunciation. Sannyas means you find a very comfortable place for yourself. Either you select to be in solitude or you select to be with your family wherever you are comfortable. You want to stay in the mountains, fine. You want to stay in the desert, fine. You want to stay in the beach, fine. Settle down, either with your family, either with your friends or alone, howsoever you want, and invest in reading of scriptures in a comfortable environment and connect to the highest truth. So we call it Purushartha. Means first you've done all your duties by being in yoga, and at the end you can give 100% to spiritual development. Okay, this is sannyas. You've retired, and now if you think that you are a good communicator, you can give this knowledge to others. If you think you are a guru, you can go and teach in a gurukul. You have enough resources, your children are stable. If you are a family person, if you're not a family person, there you become a hermit. you go to a hermitage, become a monk, and invest in spiritual scriptures and gain philosophical knowledge. The last phase of your life. Now, something is very interesting. Some people, once they are in their Gurukul, they realize that naturally they are not meant for Grihast and Vanaprast. They should directly jump to sannyas. This clarity will come to you once you are in a proper Gurukul. So there is a provision of directly jumping from Gurukul, you directly become a monk. So it is not confusion, it is clarity that you know, okay, I am not a family person. I might not be a stable family person. I might directly become an explorer. So you skip samsara and jump into Vanaprast. It is very open and liberal. Our Vedic culture was very liberal and open. It gave you all, you consult your guru. Guru, I feel I'm not a family person. I want to travel the world and gain more knowledge. Fine. Then why do you want to make a family and create problem for them? You directly become an explorer. You skip and become a Vanaprast person. You travel the world, do some freelance work. I'm connecting it to the modern day society. But today what happens? People are confused. There is no clarity. So spiritual clarity should not come once you are suffering. It should come right at a tender age. So I request all the parents who are sitting here that don't start your children that, okay, once you start taking drugs and then you start yoga. It is not like that. Don't take it as a medicine. Take it as a foundation. All right? So that you are clear. Dude, I don't think I'm a family person. I will directly jump to sannyas. Perfect. I think I'm a hardcore family person. I don't want to explore. You remain in your family. No need to go to sannyas and vanaprast. You in your family. Every possibility is there. This is the beauty of our culture. And this was systematically destroyed by the invaders who came to this country. You know, gurukuls were broken down. Ayurveda teachers were punished by the colonial time, in the colonial British rule. Invasions were happening. Once this invasion happened, this culture really got destroyed. In the colonial time, when the India was under the British Raj, Ayurveda teachers were punished. They were fined. But still, it's a surviving culture. Somehow, some things have retained. Else it would have been dead. It is not dead because it is an internal science. You can't kill the within. You can't kill the soul. You can burn the libraries. So many libraries have been burning. Great libraries. Today, the best universities, Oxford, Harvard. During the medieval time, the world used to come to India, to Takshashila and Nalanda. Search about it. They were the universities of the world, highest philosophies. And once the invasions happened, they burned the libraries, which kept on burning for years, months together. So much of loss. But still we are living this culture. It's not in the museum because of yoga, which is not external. It is internal. It came down to the genetics of the human beings, human consciousness. Temples were broken. The symbolic things were broken down. But the real essence was not. It has been corrupted. I accept it. It has been corrupted. I cannot say India is very great and everything is fine. But still it is surviving. If you go to some pockets, you find this culture surviving. It is a living culture. Unlike many cultures which have just become history in the museum. It's a living culture. The Vedic culture is the oldest and the living culture because it works on your spirit and soul, not guiding you. Do this, do that. It is a liberal culture. Very, very liberal. So this land accepted everything. You come to India, you will find Christians, Jews, Islam, Buddhists, Sikhs, Hindus, everybody is staying together. So this is the beauty of the culture. It blends everything. It is accepting everything. So yogic culture means an inclusive culture. It is not exclusive. You, me, no, us. That's why it's a living culture. It blends. There has been corruptions. Yes, I accept it. But still it is living. So this form of the 4 ashramas, which was systematically destroyed. You go to Rishikesh, there are still gurukuls working, very few gurukuls. There were thousands and thousands of gurukuls before British Raj. Now there are only handful of true gurukuls. We are all global schools, international schools. And you know what we are doing to the society. You know it, right? I need not say what young teenagers do. You are not prepared to fall in love, and just because you are exposed to all these things, you want to touch fire. You don't know how to handle it. That's what young people are doing. Children are doing. Then there is so many more. The addictions are there. Internet, very good. Internet is very nice, very informative. But you know the pros and cons. I need not tell you. Porn addiction, such a big problem. When the time comes, you do it. But why are you in a hurry? 13, 14 years of age, and they had a breakup, and now you were having alcohol and drugs. Very good. Done. Your life done. And then you cry, I need yoga, I need guru. You will nothing. You will get nothing. Because the foundation is not built. So yoga was all about building a foundation so that once emotions come to you, it will come to everybody. Yoga doesn't say that you have to become a hermit. If it comes naturally, you become. But when emotions come to you, when the strong sexual energy comes to you, you know how to manage it. Because in your childhood, you have been practicing yoga. You've been practicing pranayamas. You've been with a guru. You know the philosophy of life. You are prepared for life. You will enjoy it. You will make it even more beautiful and not suffer because of your own emotions, your own tendencies and temperaments. But you will be aware. Today, what we are learning and teaching, that should have been done when we were kids. Even when I was a kid, I should have done. I'm from a missionary school. No yoga. PT. PT. No yoga. I was lucky enough that I got a guru later on. Else I would have been miserable, crying all my life. Still, I'm trying to attain more clarity. But I wish I was in a Gurukul. But no, we are Delhi boys. We are all modern people. Everything fast, 2-minute Maggi noodle, fast life, fast food, fast sex, fast death. So that is the issue. If you really want to build a society, it has to start very early. We say when a mother is pregnant, yoga starts during that time. What she eats, how she thinks, what kind of environment she is in. Yes, what kind of environment, what kind of music, classical music. Once your mom is pregnant, she should listen to good music. It affects the womb. It's scientifically proven. So you guys have a great chance to build a good society by imparting this early in your children. And that is how it worked. Don't think suddenly you will gain some knowledge. It has to be a systematic process. That is how our Vedic culture or yogic culture developed in the form of 4 ashramas or 4 stages of life. It does not mean that you have to go through all. If you feel that I am not a family person, I am done with exploring, you become a guru. You know that you are a teacher. Your genetics are like that. So no need to go through all the 4 phases. You directly become a sannyasi. Every possibility is there. But Gurukul was must, where your foundation was created.